Hey guys, Motorcar Nerd here, and today we're going to discuss a little bit about O2 sensors, what they do, their locations, and how important they are to engines. So, an O2 sensor, oxygen sensor, is exactly that. It measures the oxygen in the exhaust after combustion. Now, this is a 4-cylinder, so if you have like a 6-cylinder that's split, like you have 3 cylinders and 3 cylinders, or 4 cylinders and 4 cylinders, etc., you're going to have your own set on each bank of oxygen sensors. Sometimes you can have one, usually before the cat, pre-cat, or after the cat. Post-cat is, it's always going to be on one bank. So being this is a 4-cylinder engine, you're only going to have, like I said, it can have more than 2, but more or less they basically only have 2. One will be here, and another one will be after the cat somewhere in the exhaust system, which I don't have. But to get an idea, a lot of people think that the O2 sensors measure unburnt fuel. They don't. They measure oxygen. All right, so now with the front O2 sensor, Upstream O2 sensor has all different names. The one before the cat measures the fuel mixture. It's constantly going on. It's constantly going low and high, low, high, low, high. If you see it on the scan tool, you know what I'm talking about. And the bottom sensor is supposed to have a more steady stream if the catalytic converter is doing its job. It shouldn't mimic the front one. If it's switching from lean rich just as fast as the top one, then we know that the catalytic converter is not doing its job. When you look on a scan tool, you want to see the bottom after cat O2 sensor pretty much steady. It's pretty much steady, knowing that the O2 sensor on the top is doing its job, and if it's a little bit higher, a little bit lower with air, unburnt fuel, the oxygen in the exhaust, it's going to sense it and give it a higher signal for a richer condition or a lower signal for a lean condition, and it switches and adjusts the computer so it can adjust the top O2 sensor, so it can adjust the fuel and air mixture for the best possible emissions, because it's all about emissions. That's what it's for. It's for emissions, basically nothing else. That's basically the narrow band of, there's different types. There's also wideband and heated O2 sensors. This one's a heated one because it has more than 2 wires. This one has 4. Heated, why you want it heated is because when the car is ice cold, you want the car to go in closed loop. What closed loop means is that when it's an open loop, the computer is not controlling the fuel and air mixture. The faster the car goes in closed loop, where the computer sees everything, can start controlling it and making the engine run more efficient, is what you want. So they put heated elements. So as soon as you turn the key and start the car, the element heats up inside. So it can go up to operating temperature a lot faster as far as the emissions part of it, and that's why they have heated O2 sensors. Now, wideband O2 sensors, they control more accurately. They control the air-fuel mixture basically exactly. They use cell pumps, they use ECMs that can control that in split second. That's usually on the newer engines with direct injection, turbos, and just to bring the car up to operating temperature, make it run so good they can almost breathe the gas, the exhaust gases. That's how accurate these cars are. Of course, you don't want to do that, but I'm just giving an example. Now, if you have O2 sensor codes, you can have codes. There's a lot of codes, but when you hook up your scan tool or code reader, and it's going to tell you if it's an oxygen sensor code. It's usually a P0300s. It could be all the way P0300s, P0140s, 130s, 130s, 140s. You get the 420s, the Cadillac threshold efficiency codes. A lot of those codes, and they can be confusing if you don't know what you're looking for. You always got to do things in systematic. So let's say if you get, and usually newer cars, when it gives you a code, it's going to give you which sensor. It could be the upstream, it could be the downstream, it could be bank 1, it could be bank 2, and you start with there, you're probably going to need a scan tool. Sometimes the O2 sensors can be lazy. It goes slow and it goes fast, it goes slow. Let me show you this one. This one has a little carbon on it. You know, and it could still probably be good. Sometimes you can clean. I wouldn't recommend cleaning them, but sometimes you can try cleaning them with a special electrical cleaner that's made only for these. All right, I never tried that, but some of these are expensive. Some of these could be $300-400. So if that's your case, I would try it. All right, and it could have a slow response, no response. The heater element could have failed, and a lot of times the codes are specific to the sensor itself. And that helps you, it pinpoints you to go in that area. And if you have a scan tool and you know how you're looking at the data, I'm going to make another video on that. You can see it's supposed to go on, it's supposed to go low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high. But if it's going low, staying in the middle, staying high, it could be lazy, or like again, if it could be shorted out, you're going to have different codes for that. Same thing with any O2 sensor in any bank. Of course, a lot of times they're hard to get to, so that's why the codes put you in the right location, so you can use the scan tool to look at the data, and you can take it from there. And a lot of the symptoms can be, usually most people don't really pay attention to the O2 sensors until you get a check engine light. But other than that, let's say you don't get a check engine light, or it's not bad enough that the computer is setting a code, you can get like a rough, poor fuel economy is probably number one. All right, you can get a little bit of a rough idle. Okay, and of course the codes could be rich codes, lean codes, or catalytic converter codes. A lot of times you may get catalytic like a P0420 or P0430, and you think it's the catalytic converter, but sometimes it could be the O2 sensors with inaccurate information. And it's always good to make sure, because most catalytic converters are a lot more expensive than the O2 sensors. And in emission states, besides failing emissions because of that, you can have vacuum leaks, all right, mass airflow, anything that, even a dirty air filter. If you have a dirty air filter, you can even get O2 codes. You can get any kind of codes. Computer only as smart as how it's programmed. So if you don't have air coming in, all right, yes, you can get mass airflow codes, but sometimes it may not even pick up the airflow sensor code. It may, the air filter could be dirty, causing less air to come in, causing the system to be lean, all right, and give you lean codes, or it's going to reverse it, put more fuel, and give you rich codes. So it's like, it can be a little confusing, the emission system that has to deal with the O2 sensor and catalytic converter if you're not familiar with it. Even if you're familiar with it, sometimes it could be something that's totally like, the wires could be chewed, or you could be burning a lot of oil that you don't realize, like it burns up in the catalytic converter and you really don't see it out the exhaust unless, you're getting on the car and you never look in the back of your car while you're driving it. That can gum up the O2 sensor, or that can destroy the catalytic converter, especially if you have a bad head gasket. That can destroy the honeycomb in here, all right, because this gets extremely hot. These catalytic converters can go up to easily 1700 degrees. Let's say you're idling, the car is hot, it could be like 1,000. Normal driving, normal load can be up to 1300. You're towing something, you could be 14, 15, 1600 degrees. All right, so that's extremely hot. These are precious metals in there, rhodium, palladium. They're all special metals in there. So any kind of, let's say like you get mist of coolant or water or oil, that could easily gum up or crack it, or just destroy the substrates inside there. So there's a lot of issues that can go wrong with these. And a lot of time, I think most of the codes that you see on cars, I believe, are emission related, as far as the O2s, the air fuel mixtures. Then second types of codes are probably timing codes. But even timing can throw the timing, it can throw the mixture, coolant, I mean, not the coolant, the air fuel mixture off. It can make the engine run rough, misfire. Misfiring is no good. Putting raw fuel into your catalytic converter is no good. See, they're all related. Cam codes, timing codes, all related to the emissions codes. It's just one big family. So that's basically how it is. I mean, there's a lot more into it, but that hopefully should give you a little bit of an idea of what these O2 sensors are. And, sometimes the mechanics, they charge a little bit extra money for them. And there's a reason. They're expensive to diagnose. But, hopefully you get an O2 code. It's just the O2 sensor just failing. If everything's running good and it's just getting old, nothing lasts forever, then you replace the O2 sensor. You could probably do it yourself, save yourself a lot of money. All right, guys, thought I'd make the video. Motor Car Nut, please subscribe, hit that like button. Any questions pertaining to this video, leave them below. I answer all my questions. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.